report for Chapter 16, The Woman in Western Art, the beginning of female objectification. Women are made the object of men's desire or have learned to scrutinize themselves using the standard of other women. The painting, The Judgment of Paris, presents a strong starting point for the study of women in Western art. Peter Paul Rubens depicts a scene from Greek mythology in which the most disquality did not make him a person worthy of praise because beauty made him a vain, beautiful man. Rubens painted the scene two masterpieces. One, show to understand the goddess being ordered to dress by her judgment. In other, Paris is handing the prize to a product. In both of these works of art, woman's nudity is displayed. This myth is a perfect piece of painters to depict the female nude because the women are placing themselves while presenting on display for a man. It is a perfect illustration of what nude means, according to art critic John Peter Berger. The male gaze, the idea of looked-at-ness by Laura Mulvey discusses a Freudian term called scopophilia, in which the act of looking has become a form of pleasure. Lee Degenersure, her essence, nude woman in woman painting candidly in her not idealized body, sitting between two youths, and what essence her sexuality without idealization. The woman depicted in Degenersure, I have challenged the idealization and objectification of women's bodies by the bourgeoisie. The more beautiful in order to be worthy of a man's love support. On the other hand, certain commercial may be telling women that if they don't take care of themselves through this product, they may be less complete as women. Note that most of these products focus on the outward appearance of women versus their inner beauty. The way these advertisements present, conceived, or invented inadequacies makes women feel that it's essential for their happiness to address this issue. What women forget is that these ideals of beauty are not important. They are socially constructed because they reflect certain values of society. However, when one realizes that these standards of beauty are unrealistic and are only used to sell certain products, they can be examined and people can choose not to adhere to them. Women in film and the film industry. According to a report by the Center of Study of Women in Television and Film, only 33% of speaking roles and 34% of identifiable leading characters in Hollywood films were played by women. Moreover, only 22% of leading roles in the top grossing film of 2015 were women. A 2013 study by Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism at the University of Southern California say 31.6% of women would be portrayed as wearing sexy clothes versus 7% of men and 31% partly nude versus 9.4% of men. One important reason for this statistic is that only 5% of directors were women in 2011, and they only do romance, comedies, and documentaries. But as a result, women perspectives are not presented on screen. When women characters are portrayed, they are less likely to be shown as doing some identifiable occupation, doing actual work. More men, 60%, have identifiable goals and work-related activities, 48% in films. Many studies about Hollywood and gender show that the film industry is dominated by men. A vast majority of movies are about spies and cops, political intrigue in the realms of business and politics, and historical dramas and disaster where men are shown as the drivers of action. The reason most movies have men as leading protagonists and are based on the story of men is both these themes are proven ticket seller. However, another related finding asserts that movie directed by men about men receive significantly larger marketing budgets. A clear and direct correlation exists between marketing budget and movie.
Women and sexualization. Fundamentally, women in films and advertising are highly sexualized and reduced to their bodies. The American Psychological Associate writes, the body becomes a woman, basis of self-worth. However, when impossible, standards are determined according to the demands of profit and perhaps the maintenance of patriarchal values of oppression. Of course, it is unjust to expect women to shape themselves according to the standards set by the media. Media has a way of defining the way a person perceives a reality and oneself. Even men and boys, when exposed to the idea that a woman fulfillment is to be desired and owned by men, would treat women accordingly. If a woman is dependent on men for her sustenance, self-worth, and meaning, then she is viewed as an object that does not have dignity and worth. Men would see women as an object that only exists to serve men. Needs this is the root of much gender-based violence. The sexualization of women in media and their objectification has a negative effect on women. Not only that, the impossible standard of for women consciously or unconsciously set perpetuate wealth accumulation and westernization. Beauty as a weapon against a woman. Beauty as a weapon against a woman. Critically thinking about women and art, one will come up with this assertion: one half of the world peoples, wherever they are rich or poor, powerful or marginalized, have effectively been reduced the object of consumption. Female models, designers, and editors of beauty magazines perpetuate the idea of a woman as object that possess certain, often unattainable standards. This work by Naomi Wolf introduced the beauty myth, or the existence of one universal beauty idea, the standard that all women must strive to achieve. Wolf present various ways in which an individual needs to beautify oneself according to the standard set by the Western media. The standard mentioned by Wolf are creation of the dominant capitalized society to prevent women from becoming genuinely free. Making thin the ideal standard for beauty makes women starve themselves, affecting their physical and psychological states. Failure to submit to this standard may cause lose their job, as some women accept to dress up or put their face some makeup for a certain job. The standard of beauty are possible to realize, keeping the women in constant insecurities and self-esteem. So, for Wolf, this impossible of the beauty myth is a way to continue to invade women who are beginning to be emancipated by the second wave of feminism. Number two, the woman who feels like women feel do not measure up to the standard of beauty may never have any ambition or confidence to become leaders or equals to men. Okay. One may not agree with the notion that the beauty myth was meant to enslave emancipated women since it is sold as a nature standard. But however, one can see how women are affected by this myth. The fact that the beauty myth is believed to be natural and universal is a great cause for anxiety in women who does not possess the necessary traits. It's another kind of assault and it doesn't feel like freedom to me. It's also an assault on the freedom of speech and though when advertisers impose the selling of the beauty myth to the media outlets that are dependent on their funding. Lastly, the only way that advertisers can sell their products to women is by setting impossible standards that can only be attained if they avail themselves of certain products.